Well, hey guys, welcome. Mitch John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. It is, oh yes, it is Thursday night, and it's August 14th, 2025. We're halfway through the month of August. Hope everyone's had a great summer. I know summer's almost over if you are watching this in the summertime. It's great to be with you. If you are thirsty, my friends, why not get yourself a bottle of water, RO water like I have here, maybe a snack, maybe some fruit, whatever you have. Come on back to the show. Really love to have you here. Get comfortable. And if you're new, I do want to say welcome. If you're coming back, well, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate that. Whether it's the first time or it's the 100th or more time you've come, really appreciate that. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations, which you can do 24 hours a day, but after the show. All right, guys. All right. So a very, very big welcome, like I said, to everyone back to Inspirations for Your Life, where I dive deep into the ideas, the mindsets, and the habits that help you live with purpose and power. I'm your host, serial entrepreneur, podcast coach, video producer, graduate student, marketing specialist, keynote speaker, and much more, and a passionate believer in limitless potential. Today's episode is all about unlocking motivation from the inside out. Whether you're chasing a personal dream, building a business, or simply looking for a spark to keep going, I'll help you explore 15 powerful principles that you can weave into your daily life. Think of this as your motivational fuel, a station ready to recharge your energy, sharpen your focus, and set you on the path to unstoppable, yes, momentum. All right, guys. So let's dive right in. The 15 motivational principles for this evening about this. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this. So know your why. Your motivation is only as strong as your reason. And tonight's granular topic is Inner Space, Series 4, Show 32, Episode 6. Your motivation is only as strong as your reason for acting. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's only as strong as your reason for acting. And so that's a very, very important thing. You know, when you connect every action to a clear personal purpose, you create a foundation that keeps you moving even when things get tough. Ask yourself, why is this worth my time and energy? The deeper your why, well, the longer your drive will last. And I think that's important to understand. Number 2, guys, start small. Grand visions are exciting, right? But big leaps often feel overwhelming. Begin with those, well, little tiny doable actions today and let those small wins stack up. The magic of momentum is just that. It builds quietly, then suddenly becomes unstoppable. Number 3, believe in yourself. Without self-belief, even the best plan will collapse. Under doubt, feed your inner confidence daily by remembering past wins and affirming your capability. Self-belief is the soil from which your success grows. Focus on what matters. Distractions are motivation killers. Choose your top priorities and devote your energy there. The more you focus on what truly matters to you, the faster you're going to see meaningful progress in your life. And that's the truth, guys. Number 5. Use discomfort to grow. I've said there is no growth when we're comfortable. Discomfort is not a stop sign. It's a growth signal. Every time you lean into a challenge, you expand your capacity and strengthen your resilience, well, that's when you grow. Number 6, visualize success. See it before you achieve it. Spend a few minutes each day. Imagine yourself at the finish line, feeling the emotions, hearing the applause, enjoying the victory. Visualization programs your brain to believe and, guys, yes, achieve. Number 7, keep positive self-talk alive. Your internal voice sets the tone for your external results. Encourage yourself the way you would a close friend, with kindness, with optimism, and conviction, not sarcasm. Number 8, build momentum daily. Do something every day that moves you forward, even if it's a small thing. Consistency beats intensity, in the long game of motivation, that is. So, number 9, treat failure as feedback. Failure isn't final, guys, it's a teacher. Each setback holds clues to help you adjust and improve your approach. The only real failure is, well, giving up. Number 10, align with your values. When your goals match your core values, motivation feels natural instead of forced. You're not just chasing results, you're living in harmony with what matters most to you. Number 11, protect your mindset. We got to guard our mind. Guard your thoughts from negativity because they will creep in sometimes, not just because of you, but because of other people that might have them. The people, the media, and environments you expose yourself to will greatly affect your fuel and your motivation to be positive or negative and drain it. So choose wisely where you're doing things and who you're doing them with. Number 12, celebrate those small wins. Acknowledging even the tiniest progress trains your brain to seek more success. Each celebration is a spark that keeps the motivational fire alive. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. We get started because of one reason, we are curious, but it's our passion that keeps us involved. All right? That's the important thing. We want to keep sparking the curiosity. Number 13, stay present. Motivation thrives when you focus on the task at hand. Worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, it just scatters your energy. Be here now. Number 14, recharge often. Motivation is like a battery. It needs regular recharging. Rest, reflect, and give yourself space to breathe so you can return stronger. I think sometimes, and I'll be guilty of this, we push ourselves. And it's good to push ourselves sometimes, but we need to make sure we're giving ourselves a break. I think that's a very, very important point. We have to be giving ourselves a break. All right, number 15. Keep going no matter what. See, persistence, guys, is the secret. Okay? And it's also that special ingredient of every success story. Push forward, adapt when needed, but never, 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 never quit. I think that's important. I think a lot of people sometimes don't realize that it's okay to have a challenge, but we need to figure out how to get better because if we do the same thing over and over again and we expect different results, as Einstein said, that's insanity. And none of us are insane, right? All right, here's the part of the show that I really enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and give you basically a personal lesson or story, one for each point, okay? And it's my hope that it will spark something, okay? It will spark something. And I think when you start to understand that, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't understand how I ever lived without this. And, the truth of the matter is, we all start on a path, but sometimes we get off that path because somebody says, oh, you know what, you can't do that or you can do that. So, true story. In a class one time, the class wasn't easy. And the professor said something to me that not a lot of professors say. John, it's not an easy class. It's a hard class. You're smart and you can do it. That was an amazing accolade. Something that not only proved to me, but then also I had to justify the fact to the teacher because when they said to me, that you can do it, I had to prove them right. And I think that happens a lot in our life. When somebody says you can't do that, you know what we're doing? We're proving them right. So if somebody says to you, I know you can do it, or I know you have what it takes, that's all you need to do. All right. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth, guys. It absolutely is the truth. So let's just dive right in. So know your why. When I first launched my first tech consulting company, I faced months without a single paying client. Friends asked me why I didn't just go get a normal job. The truth, my why was stronger than my fear of failure. I wanted to help small business owners use technology not as a burden, but as a bridge to growth. Every time I felt discouraged, I reminded myself of the struggling business owners who needed my expertise. That clarity kept me moving forward and the business growing and becoming more successful. You see, your why acts like a compass. When storms roll in, which they will, without it, every setback feels like a reason to quit. With it, obstacles become detours rather than dead ends, right? If you're feeling stuck, spend a quiet evening asking yourself what truly matters. Not what sounds impressive to others, but what fuels you at your core. We've all taken our car out before and we've all used a GPS and we've all been led down a road somewhere, or even without a GPS, and suddenly that road is closed, right? Do we just suddenly say, oh, we're not going to the restaurant or we're not going to that place? No, we figure out the detour, even if the detour is not obvious. Start small. I remember deciding to write my first book, which is still in progress, by the way. I had visions of finishing it in 3 months. I got overwhelmed fast. Instead of cranking out chapters, I switched to writing just a page at a two at a time, which I'm still doing. The small commitment eventually is getting this book to being finished very, very soon. And more importantly, it taught me how to beat procrastination. Small steps may seem insignificant in the moment, but they stack over time. Starting small lowers resistance and allows momentum to grow naturally. It's easier to take the next, right? The key is to not underestimate the power of our humble beginnings because our humble beginnings are what not only take us to one point, but they also become, well, a beacon for others to follow. Early in my career, I pitched a software idea to a group of investors. Halfway through, I saw them exchange skeptical glances. My confidence almost collapsed, but I kept going, finished my pitch, and even landed a meeting with one of them afterward. The investor later told me I liked the idea, but was really impressed me was how you believed in it, even when the room didn't. And this taught me something. Believe in yourself doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means knowing that you have the capacity to learn, adapt, and rise to challenges. Your own conviction often inspires others to take a chance on you. And when I noticed that, I said, you know what? I don't need these people's money. I don't need their investment. I've got something really great. Why don't I just launch it myself? And I did. Focus on what matters, guys. When I first expanded one of my businesses, I said yes to every project. I was, well, exhausted to say the least, and constantly firefighting. It wasn't until I started saying no to work that didn't align with my goals and my core purpose that I began to see real growth. Focusing on what matters is about more than productivity, it's about protecting your energy. As yourself, daily, does this action get me closer to my vision, or am I just staying busy? That one question can change your entire approach. People are afraid to often ask it. Use discomfort to grow. I once agreed to speak at a conference where I was the youngest person on the stage by two decades. I felt completely out of place, but the discomfort pushed me to prepare harder than ever. The talk ended with a standing ovation and a dozen of new clients. Discomfort often signals that you're entering new territory. Instead of avoiding it, lean in. It might just be fun. Those uncomfortable moments are often where you get your next breakthrough and where you'll find success. In one of my advanced courses, I was doing some work, and this one course, we actually got permission to use a calculator. It was an advanced math course. And I love math, but this one course was like really a top high course, discrete math, advanced discrete math. And I have to say, I never thought I would fall in love with my calculator. Now, you might say, gee, you can't use a calculator. But yes, you can, because all those calculations that you have to do, you can use the calculator. The calculator can build confidence in you, whether you're doing multiplication, whether you're doing dividing, whether you're doing factorials, lots of things, as long as you have a great, scientific calculator. But it was the race against the calculator to see how many connections and answers I could get for solutions. And that was fun. But in the beginning, it was hard. When I made it like a game or a puzzle, I'm like, oh, I want to do more of this. Yeah. Visualize success. Before every major keynote I give or any project, I spend a few minutes picturing the audience nodding, smiling, and clapping. The mental rehearsal doesn't just calm my nerves, it programs me to perform as if the success is already happening. Visualization works because your brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. Practice it daily, and you'll find yourself moving naturally toward the reality you've always rehearsed. You won't believe how easy it is. Keep positive self talk alive. When I launched my first podcast, which many of you know, G More Tech Talk, the first few episodes, well, had almost no listeners. My inner critic wanted to say nobody cares. Instead, I told myself every great show starts small, and each episode is one step toward a bigger audience. That mindset kept me producing content until my listenership exploded. And then I even decided to launch my real flagship, which is this show, Inspirations for Your Life. Positive self talk isn't about ignoring challenges, folks. It's about choosing a narrative that empowers you to keep going. See, you can choose whatever narrative you want, and you can believe that, and your life will become that. The reason our lives stay stagnant is because we're giving ourselves a narrative, and our body and our mind's like, okay, I got to prove you're right. You believe you're a failure? I'm going to prove you're right. The voice in your head is your constant companion. Make sure it's a supportive one to the narrative that you're telling. Build momentum daily. I keep a simple habit. Every day, I do at least one task that moves my biggest goal forward. Some days, it's huge, like closing a client deal. Other days, it's small, like sending a follow-up email. Over time, these daily actions snowball into major results. Momentum is the antidote to procrastination. Even on tough days, a single forward step is enough to keep, the energy alive, to keep that light just burning a tiny bit. Treat failure as a feedback mechanism. My first live webinar, was a disaster. Poor audio, tech glitches, and awkward pauses, and very, very bad platforms. This was even before Zoom. Instead of quitting, and now we don't use Zoom at all for our podcasting. This is much more professional. Use Restream and other software. Instead of quitting, I rewatched the whole thing, took notes, and invested in better equipment, better technology, better software. And my next webinar, it tripled its attendance. Failure is just information. It's data, right? It's statistics. It's your chance to adapt, refine, and improve. The most successful people aren't those who avoid failure, folks. They're the ones who learned the fastest. Okay? Align with your values. Years ago, I turned down a lucrative partnership because the other company's ethics didn't match mine. People told me I was foolish, but 6 months later, that same company got caught in a major scandal. I was grateful I trusted my gut because they're not in business anymore. You see, you have to do what's best for the greater good of all concerned, even when no one else is watching. When your work aligns with your values, motivation is effortless. You're no longer forcing yourself. You're simply living in integrity, and you're just going with the flow. Protect your mindset, guys. I once spent months surrounded by negative people who constantly predicted failure. My motivation sank until I began limiting my time with them and surrounding myself with optimistic, solution-oriented friends. My energy and results skyrocketed. So I was out of college and I had my first, it was my first teaching gig. And I should say my first long teaching gig. It was like 6 months. I think it was in like North Carolina. And we were working for like a company that actually was hiring them to hire us for a government project. It was crazy because sometimes we'd work a night shift, like we'd come in like and teach like at 10 o'clock at night. Another time we'd come at 8 o'clock in the morning. Another time it'd be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But there were people with me, and these people, you thought they were your friends, but they weren't. And the reason I knew this is so we were all getting there, and we were all kind of, waiting for our paychecks and things like that, right? So I remember them always, taking me around and stuff like that. They were just being nice. And they were nice for a little while, but then they knew that once we were getting paid, now they expected to get some money for driving us around, even though we were all going the same place. What happened there? I broke away from them. But during that entire 6 months, I was around negative people. And I didn't really know back then, what do I do with it? But these negative people were pulling me down. All I knew is that I wanted to get away from these people as much as I could. After that project, I learned I don't need to stay connected with those people. They're negative. And it's not my job to try to turn them around. Be careful who you hang around with because that can greatly impact your success. Your mental environment is as important as your physical one, your health, right? And things like that, nutrition. Choose what and who you allow into it with care. Because if you don't, well, you might not be getting the results you've been bargaining for. Celebrate those small wins. You know you can. When I hit my first 100 podcast downloads, yeah, I treated myself to a nice dinner. Some people might laugh at such a small milestone, but celebrating it made me eager for the next one. And then eventually hitting 175,000 downloads and growing, that's a lot more to celebrate, but I'm still humble to remember what it was like to get those first 100. Celebrating small wins trains your brain to associate progress with joy. That emotional reward fuels the next push forward. Like with my tests, getting this grade and getting that grade, it pushes me forward. Like I had 3 tests, now I have a final, and it's exciting me to study more to do well on the final. That's important, guys. Next point that we talked about was stay present. During one of my first big client projects, I kept worrying about future deadlines. The anxiety nearly caused me to miss the quality mark in my current work. Once I shifted to focusing only on the day's tasks, my stress dropped and my performance, well, it just sort of soared. Being present doesn't mean ignoring the future, folks. It means fully engaging with what's in front of you. That focus makes your work better and your motivation, well, stronger. Recharge often. I used to pride myself on working 14-hour days without rest until burnout hit. Now I schedule downtime just like I schedule meetings. I've learned that rest isn't laziness, it's maintenance. Now I know with doing the studying for my finals coming up, I know I'm putting a lot of extra time in and things like that, but I know that when that class is over, I'm scheduling some rest time and making sure I enjoy and I recharge. You know what, guys? You got to keep going no matter what. Okay? But before I say that, when you recharge, you return to your work with sharper focus and, of course, renewed energy. Your motivation depends on your ability, okay, to replenish it. That's important. And being aware of it is something that most people forget. And that's why they get into all kinds of health issues. Keep going no matter what. People who are going to stop you, people are going to be jealous and envious of you. Do it anyway. I've had product launches flop, deals fall through, and ideas rejected. But I've never let those moments be the end of my story. I've never let them define where I'm going after that. Every time I pushed forward, something better eventually, well, came along. You see, persistence is a superpower, not like the ones with Spider-Man or Batman or Hulk or any of the powers that you see in the mystics. When others quit, you keep moving. See, that's how ordinary effects turn into extraordinary results. Somebody is always going to be stopping, but not you. Not you. This reminds me of that great speech. Remember the soccer coach, right? We shut the Soviets down tonight. They might win all these other games, but not tonight. We shut them down because we can and we will. A motivational speech is something that can keep you on track. But words might just be words until you can associate and lock them into something that has a true core value in your life that means something to you. Because I say to you something's important, but if it doesn't resonate with you, what do you care, right? So a lot of times you got to find your why. And I do a pretty good job of helping you find it. But maybe I haven't clicked on the exact why for every reason you need something. That's when you need to basically sit back, ask yourself questions, get rid of those chattering monkeys because you know you can. And when you truly get rid of the chattering monkeys, you know what happens? Well, they become invisible. They're not there anymore. And now, whatever you're trying to get past, it's like there's nobody blocking you anymore, right? Maybe you've been in grammar school or high school, and maybe you're running for office. I remember doing this. And I first remember I wanted to run for president, but I didn't know enough people. But I knew enough that I figured I could run for class representative. And guess what? I was one of four. I got in. After that, I ran for class president, and I did get in. Later in college, I ran for president too. But I think starting small, celebrating the small win, and then other people seeing that small win, it's not only going to help you, but it helps them, well, let's say change their perspective about you. It helps them get a more positive picture of you. It helps build more rapport. And I think the problem with a lot of people is that they rush from, let's say, trying to go from a little trust to like extreme trust overnight. For example, let's say you're maybe you're a let's say you're just not so much a friend, but you're an acquaintance of somebody and you want to move from acquaintance to friendship. That might be the next step. But you don't go from acquaintance to best friend overnight, right? That takes time. The reason it takes time is we want to make sure that this person is in alignment with my values, with my course. They sound good, they look good, and the cover looks good, but what's the book really about? What's the person really about? Is that judging? No, it's making sure that the person you're spending your time with is worth it. Your time is valuable. So you want to invest it in people that is going to make sense. Some people you invest in, it's like you wonder why you even spent time, why you even wasted your breath. I think those are very interesting things. And if we can understand that, then maybe people can change the way they're growing in life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am by now, allow me to introduce myself. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out now BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I'll catch you real soon, everyone. Be well.